Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition of Keeping Modern Janky. Okay, here we are trying out a new, fun brew that I've been trying to make something work in Modern a few times here, and that's Boros Reckoner plus Blasphemous Act. Over the years, they've printed numerous Boros Reckoner type effects, and I really want to see if it will work. So this is a Boros build that has a strikingly similar early game of that you would see in an energy strategy, for instance. And the idea is that we flood the board with cheap, powerful, efficient creatures like this. And eventually, if our opponent clogs up the board with creatures of their own, we stick a Boros Reckoner and then Blasphemous Act and burn them out that way. Alternatively, with Phyrexian Vindicator, what we're hoping for is that our early threats like this run our opponent out of answers, and then when we get to the Boros Reckoner or Phyrexian Vindicator, we can just stick one of those, and they just can't beat that. Sure, our opponent's looking at this hand and thinking, what the heck, Boros Reckoner? And then, yes, you got to take the Ajani. All right, another Goyf. Pretty good. We had plans for that Ajani, dude. So the danger here, we have a sorcery, instant land, creature, planeswalker. I guess there's a danger that they build something else up. Otherwise, we can just block and bolt. So Modern is a new place. Playing all these enchantments now. Okay. Whenever fear of missing out attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature after this phase. Yep. Yeah. I mean, this is one of those. I guess it's not a glimmer, so it doesn't come back when it dies, but it's still powerful. Death Shadow. Okay. That's a nice little combo. 0 cards in hand. What's the scariest? What's scarier? Fear of missing out? Or this Death Shadow? They're out of cards. I feel like Death Shadow might be the what we need to get rid of right now. Because the fear of missing out it's not going to be able to attack through this Boros Reckoner next turn. So yeah, we're going to get hit for 4. But we are not, depending on, I mean, our opponent could easily pump this Death Shadow big quickly. And then just kill us dead with that instead. And we don't have a clean answer for Death Shadow in our deck. Not in our 60. We can bring in some stuff from the sideboard to help. Really hoping this Reckoner lives. We didn't need to be shocking ourselves quite so much. This red-white. All right, well, let's hopefully they didn't draw a lightning bolt. But I mean, you know what? Lightning bolt's fine. Unholy heat's fine. Anything they use to kill us, we can use to kill their guy. And then we're left with Ragavan. Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. You want to hit our Boros Reckoner? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's funny. Can't attack into the Reckoner, man. Let's see what we draw. Hey, this is it. We're getting so close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. I think we can just... Can we do it? Can we Blasphemous Act and kill them right now? Is this the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Costs too much. I was so excited for a second. And now if they have another Boros, if they have another Orcish Bowmasters, we're in trouble. All right, well, we got a Fated Draw. Please don't kill our Ragavan, and please don't... yeah, even a Death Shadow would be fine. Untap, play a Death Shadow, play another Death Shadow. That would be the dream scenario for us. Okay, good. Don't kill anything. All right, is this it? Is this our finally, we're going to get our Blasphemous Act win? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're doing it. We're going for it. Blasphemous Act. Come on. You know. Oh, man. I love it. We did it. We did it. It happened on the first game against the creature-based deck. Oh, living the dream. Living the dream. Okay, so we can bring in pretty much all of this stuff. That's exactly why we play that combo. We were up against a creature strategy. The board had been clogged. I think we just remove all these. The board had been clogged, and attacking was not going to get us there. It was just sort of a race to who could draw top deck the best. And then, yeah, the Blasphemous Act gets it done. Oh, I love it. Okay, so Phyrexian Vindicator is a great, powerful card against them. Maybe that we just take out some of the 1-drops instead. Let our opponent do some of the filling. Maybe we keep in the Blasphemous Acts. Maybe this is precisely the deck we want. All right, I can't seem to highlight. So why is it so large? Can we stop that, please? Maybe we don't need all the Surges of Salvation. I mean, if something has changed with Magic Online here. We're not an energy deck the way obviously the way energy is. So this Static Prison may not be that good. You may not be able to pay for it for very long. Could have brought in Thraben Charm to help against that enchantment creature, but oh man, do we want to keep? I don't want to mulligan. Nah, we lived the dream. And we lived the dream. I wonder if they got to keep in their Thoughtseizes. They see what our plan is now. Yeah, I assume they're going to take the Ajani, which will leave us with a whole lot of nothing in our hand. Oh, they just went for a static prison. They probably have a kill spell then. All right. Another land is not useful right now. Another static prison. We'll put it on top. They took it, so there must be something. They must have something that they want to protect. But we don't, like I said, we don't have a lot of ways of generating energy since we don't play Galvanic Blast or whatever it's called. The lightning bolt energy that doesn't target players, and that could be a mistake. But for now, I'm gonna try it out. This is the first time I'm playing Static Prison out of the sideboard, so it may just be that we need more energy producers. First time playing a Johnny. Other people seem to really enjoy playing him. I bet you I'm going to enjoy it too. But opponent kept the one lander, so we'll see. They, I assume they have a kill spell, and that will be fine if they do. We have the static prisons. They find a second land. We would really not to like. We would like to see no more lands. That's what we would like to see. No more lands, deck. Hey, it's a Reckoner. That's a good play. So they know we have two static prisons. What this is going to do is buy us time, essentially. That Sanctifier on Vec is looking as bad as it would have been last match against the Twiddle Storm deck over Rest in Peace. Now it's looking real good. I'm not sure our opponent will have an answer for it. And it nerfs what's under the static prison, so we don't even really need to care. We don't care that much about whether or not we lose the static prison. I mean, we'll pay it once at least, I think. Fear of missing out, sure. Our sideboard cards might just be. I mean, that Shielder's Edict is a thing, I guess. All right, so what are the chances? So we play the Boros Reckoner and the Static Prison, or we play the Sanctifier in Vec and hope they don't have a Shielder's Edict, or we hope to dodge a Thoughtseize or a Shielder's Edict. What are the chances they have Edict in their sideboard and our hand? Reckoner plus Static Prison. Sanctifier on the back. I mean, we're going to go with the Sanctifier. That's our high-end play. We get the front end of Exile and their entire graveyard, even if they do have an answer for it. Sorry, not their entire graveyard, I guess. And it can block for days. If it dies the Edict, we'll be sad. But I'm super happy we did not take out our entire Blasphemous Act package. Next turn we can do Reckoner, Static Prison, and Hold Up. So we're either dodging a Shielder's Edict or dodging a Thoughtseize. That's what we were looking at. Toxic Deluge. That is a thing that can kill our Sanctifier on back. It's a 0/1. But that's funny. All right, I'm not sure about the sequencing there. Obviously, Toxic Deluge. We knew they could have a removal spell, so we could have held on, done a different play there to try to, I don't know, the Reckoner would have survived that, for instance. The Sanctifier on back would have died the next turn. We would have played it this turn, but we would have had to dodge the Thoughtseize, and if they couldn't have Toxic Deluged us, they would have Thoughtseized us. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. They have more cards in hand than they did last game at this spot when I felt pretty good about where we were, even without the Blasphemous Act. Maybe they can just empty their hand with creatures and we'll draw a Blasphemous Act, and then everything will be good. Right now, if we draw a Blasphemous Act, it's lethal too, because this is going to go away. There'll be 5 creatures on the battlefield. Thinking our opponent's looking hard at their Orcish Bowmasters and wondering what they can do with it. It's the other side of this. All right, I like our chances if we can hit a Blasphemous Act, especially. That would be the best thing. Just go out to both games going out on with Blasphemous Act, just the way we drew it up. Even without it, they're going to lightning bolt. Now, do we go for the fear of missing out, or do we go face? We're not going to be able to attack through this Nethergoyf. I think we kill that. Yep. This Nethergoyf is going to be big too. We're in trouble now. Our opponent, we don't have the energy to keep paying for the Static Prison. God of Souls would have been nice a couple turns ago. What do we have? A 6/6 and a 5/6. Whenever a cat dies, we can flip it and just get another equal to the number of creatures you control. Okay, well, we're attacking. I mean, it's possible we should have hit our opponent down to 4. It would have made it for a bigger Death Shadow. They might have forced a block out of our opponent here, though. Do they have as their last card Bowmasters? Yeah, they're just going to take it. And then we will Static Prison, probably the Death Shadow. Okay, well, we got them down to they're dead on board if they can't kill us, and we're back to them not being able to attack if they can't kill us. So they have setting up their draw. We have the 2 energy. Beginning of your first main phase. All right, so we're gonna get to see what we draw. If we end up drawing a creature, we can risk it, in especially if our opponent's tapped out and or if our opponent taps down or just or empty-handed, and we see a creature, we cannot pay the energy, play another creature, get a 3rd energy, Rain of Gore. A spell or an ability would cause an opponent control again. I think. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we have a lot of creatures, so give us a creature deck. A creature off the top puts our opponent dead. Pretty sure, because then when we attack, we could put the 2+1/+1 counters on it. That thing has flying though. That complicates things. Still a lot of live draws. We're hoping not to see a land. So this does have flying, and it can block. Wow, getting in. The pump fake. All right, what do we see off the top? Creature? I got to do some math. So we're going to play a creature and get a 3rd energy. Then we're going to attack with everybody and put the counters on. But if we do that, they're going to get a massive death shadow back. Whoops. So we can put the counters on. Oh man, it has to attack. So I think we're going to just try to do it again next turn, maybe. So if we don't pay the energy, we get to 3, and then we have the flyer to kill them dead. So we're going to have to pay. We attack with everybody. They go to 1. So we play the White Orchid Phantom first. And then we have a chump blocker. And even if we don't, what did they put in the graveyard? You go to 1 that way, huh? Did they surveil? They did put a swamp in the graveyard. Can make them shuffle. Or we can set up our draw. So since they milled themselves a land, I mean, they might find something else, but that's just hit or miss, right? So this way we get to surveil ourselves. Then our deck. Set the top card of our library. It's a Surge of Salvation. Do we care about Surge at this point? I don't think so. Now we go to combat. We can attack with everybody, and then they go to 1. I think we're just going to swing in. Get another, don't get any energy. That's so, I'm used to it now, but it was confusing the first time. They can block and then die, or they can take 2 and go to 2. Johnny putting them in a hard spot right now. We don't have a red permanent though, so we don't have a red permanent, so they can block and not die to the Ajani, but it also just gives us more energy next turn and guarantees another flyer to come through. Our opponent's looking at, they need another Toxic Deluge is what they need. Toxic Deluge, and then I think they can, except they can't cast it because it requires life. So I'm not sure what they're going to need. They're going to need to kill 2 of our creatures. I'm not sure they're going to get there. Well, if we manage to take this game, we see the limitations of grinding out value. Our opponent's helping us out by lowering their life total, and it's a Death Shadow. But I still don't see them winning, because this thing's got flying. Sneaky flyer, man. And we just drew the bolt. Yeah, we'll pay it. Well, sometimes you just draw the bolt. That's why we put Surge of Salvation into the graveyard. It wasn't, and there's a Blasphemous Act. Okay, well, we got the Blasphemous Act win in game 1. That was amazing. When the board was kind of clogged, and you could make the case, get the deck list up, that in that situation we would have ground out a victory anyway. But you saw in the game 2 how the grinding out of a victory, so to speak, gives your opponent a lot of time to find answers, to answer your threats, to figure out a way to beat you themselves, and being able to just end the game on the spot by hitting your opponent for 13. It's definitely optimal and preferable to just slowly grinding them out via first striking Boros Reckoners. And in that first game, we weren't able to attack. We weren't going to just be able to attack willy-nilly. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I have hope for this deck. We have a sweet early game, as everyone knows, semi-energy package. Maybe we need more galvanic, whatever it's called, charges. But we wouldn't have won the game if that had been in our deck. Well, okay, fine. We still would have won the game, but having a bolt off the top ensures we win the game. We don't even have to go to combat. Some sweet ramp into these, this 8-card package here, and Blasphemous Act to close out games. But the early game of flooding the board with creatures does a lot of what Modern's best deck does, and it puts threats on the board that must be answered, and if they don't, they win the game. Cheap threats allow us to do multiple things in a turn, and then we have this sort of game-ending package if we can't get there and the board gets clogged up. Obviously, we saw some limitations with it against the Twiddle Storm combo deck. I think some tweaking of the sideboard might help there, and some better draws. Anyway, for CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
This has been another edition of Keeping Modern Janky. This is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com. If you haven't already, check out my original Magic the Gathering content over at CyclesGaming.com. I write about my various Commander decks. I post articles and video of my gameplay of my various modern janky brews, and I'm publishing my science fiction fantasy novel, The Podkind, serially. If you enjoy the content, check out my YouTube channel, Johnny Cycles, and click that subscribe button. Everybody counts. As always, thanks for watching. This is Johnny Cycles. I'll catch y'all on the next one.